Hey everybody, what's going on? It is James here with Crypto Common Sense, and I've got your daily Bitcoin / cryptocurrency update. Before I jump into the content of this video, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the little bell icon to get notifications when I release these daily updates. So the first thing that I want to talk about today, I want to talk about two things, and then we're going to jump into the charts. Number one, remember with trading, the biggest flaw is always going to be the human being. And I did something so stupid earlier that cost me, I don't want to say a bunch of money, but it cost me a pretty penny. And it was the dumbest mistake. I went over here and I was going to close half of my long running short. And I didn't realize the batteries in my keyboard had died. So I punched in the little box where you punch in the amount. I punched in the amount I wanted to trade, but I didn't actually look. And then I clicked the button to close half that trade. Because, of course, when you close a short, you're actually buying it. So I punched in the amount to buy, and I clicked buy, and then all of a sudden it closed my entire trade. And I was like, what the hell just happened? My batteries and my keyboard were dead, so by default, the amount sitting there in Bitmex was the entire trade. So, yeah, I closed my entire short at 72.18, and then, of course, it fell all the way down to 7,100 bucks. So that was very painful. And just wanted to share that with you because it doesn't seem like a lot, but it was kind of a big deal, right? You're talking about a difference of about 1.5%, and I don't want to chase the thing and try to jump back into it now, but it kind of sucks because I had planned on closing the other half of that down around 6,400 if we got there. So my positional trade is closed, and I'm now flat. I have no trades open. The only quote unquote trade that I have now is my spot trade, where I sold all of my spot in the summer, and I'm waiting to buy it back. So that's where I'm at on Bitcoin. Before I go into the charts, though, the other thing I want to talk about is divergences. I've gotten questions from people about divergences. Several people have actually asked me, or in some cases even told me, hey, you're using divergences wrong. You can't do a divergence that's longer than 14 periods because RSI is only taking 14 periods into account. I'm not sure where that idea sprung up at. I'd never heard that idea until about 2 months ago. It was the first time somebody said it to me. One of the big guys on Twitter was trying to basically, I guess, educate me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He didn't do it publicly. He actually privately contacted me. He's like, hey man, I just want to let you know that I like what you're doing, but you don't understand how divergences work. And I was like, yeah, I think I do. And he's like, no, you can't do that because it's more than 14 periods. So I want to put that myth to rest right now. Number one, it is not 14 periods. When you see it say RSI 14, yes, that's 14 periods, but it actually, the formula for RSI, which by the way, if you don't know it, you can Google it. The formula for RSI has a smoothing mechanism involved in it. And TradingView specifically takes over 500 periods into account that helps smooth this RSI out. So it's not just 14 periods. That's actually a rumor. I know that for a fact because I have two different pieces of software that are involved with cryptocurrency. One of them is an alerts tool, and we actually alert people when certain RSI is met. So we actually had to figure that formula out so that we can match TradingView. And the other one is a trading bot that actually buys and sells based on a multitude of factors, one of which is RSI. So again, we had to be sure the RSI was correct. So I know what the formula is that TradingView uses, okay? It is not just 14 periods. And if you don't believe some guy sitting in a spare bedroom, I would encourage you to Google this. You can go to a site like stockcharts.com, or more specifically school.stockcharts.com, and they actually talk about divergence, and this is a chart where they're teaching divergence. And you can see here that they have this bearish divergence over here. This is a bar chart instead of a candlestick chart. Each one of these up and down lines represents a period of time, just like a candlestick. And we can just count them. I mean, it's very elementary stuff, right? If we count from back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, blah, 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 right? There's 30 or 40 bars. But their RSI is set to 14. And they're showing a bearish divergence. If you go over to this side over here, there's many more, there's many more bars, more than 14 bars. And again, they're showing a bullish divergence. And they give another example further down, same thing. They show these long running divergences that cover more than 14 periods. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I do want to point that out. Whoever is telling you that, they do not understand how divergences work, right? This is a well-respected site. You can check it out for yourself. Like I said, I'm not endorsing them. I don't know them. I don't get anything foretelling you about this, but they absolutely, and this is the formula for RSI right here. And if you read about it, somewhere on here it might explain it. I don't know if it does or not. I'm not seeing it, but you can read up on it. You can Google it, and you can read more about the smoothing factor that goes into RSI. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out real quick. Now, what I want to talk about, I want to try to talk about something a little bit different today because, frankly, I feel like I say the same thing every day. And I don't know if people like watching me say it just because it kind of helps them to stay confident in their bearish biases or whatever the case is. But I really do feel like a broken record saying the same stuff. So I'd like to try to talk about something a little bit different today. So what I'm going to do is focus more on the big picture. And somebody said yesterday, hey, James, you know, I don't ever see you talk about the monthly. I do talk about the monthly occasionally. The reason I don't talk about it a lot is because it is monthly, right? So it only closes once a month and it doesn't really change until the next close. But the monthly chart, it actually is super important. And I'm kind of glad they commented because it gives me something new to talk about. So if you look at this, there were all kinds of reasons that you might have wanted to short this move up here. For example, you know, if you were basing this off of Fibonacci levels, from the top to the bottom that was up in the golden short zone. If you're basing it off of like a fib fan, you can see here that it was right up here at resistance, right? All that good stuff. There's several different reasons you might have wanted to short that, but the most basic of all is that was actually the all-time high that Bitcoin has ever closed at. This was the highest Bitcoin ever closed, was right at 13,900, and right here it just came up and basically tested that resistance, right? Monthly charts, they're amazing. If you look next, like right through here, right around 9,200 bucks, obviously, right, that was support right here, it was resistance here, it was basically the bottom of this triangle on the daily and weekly, right? Then it flipped into resistance, and if we keep drawing these, like this is the next level, look at that, right? Came back up, tested it, bearish retest, and if we just keep drawing these suckers, the next one that I'm really interested in will probably be down around this area, right? Right around 6,400 bucks. So that's kind of, you know, what I'm looking at there. But more importantly than the resistance and the support, I think it's important to realize that you have a lot of people who are saying, you know, anybody who's bearish is just a dipshit and they can't understand that this is in a 10-year uptrend and, you know, they need to zoom out. Well, if you zoom out, it's not bullish, guys. It's actually even more bearish. Basically, we were indeed in a 10-year uptrend, right? And every bear market could be called a correction if you really wanted to call it that, just a deep correction as part of this 10-year uptrend. The problem is now we've done something that Bitcoin is not supposed to do. We've put in a lower high on the monthly, right? Uptrends look like this. That is not what this is. We came up, we came down, and now we've put in a lower high. And it's even easier to see this if we change this from a candlestick chart over to a line chart. Really, really easy to see now, okay? And you might say, okay, well, so what? Well, the reality is when I first got super bearish on Bitcoin was in the summer of 2019. And the reason I got bearish is because I had seen, right, in July when this started to come back down like this, I instantly recognized the pattern that it was starting to form, okay? This is a pattern that I've seen out when I'm position trading alts. I saw this pattern over and over and over again, and it concerned me a great deal because I thought, oh shit, this is going to be a lot worse than what anybody expects. So if we look at this, basically on alts, you usually see something like this on a daily chart. Here it is on Litecoin. See it? Punched in a high, came up, put in a double top, and then bam. That's what we're doing on the monthly for Bitcoin, okay? Literally the same thing. You can look at Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Boom, double top, and then pff, it crapped out. You can look at Here's Zcash, double top, right? Another little dead cat bounce and then crapped out. You can look at, let's look at XRP. I haven't done this before the video, by the way, so surely one of these will be different, right? I think this one looks different. I don't really think this looks like the others. Maybe a little bit. You could say this, and this, I guess. But the bottom line is, I've seen this pattern over and over and over again. It's a trend reversal pattern. That's what it is. Okay? So the fact that we're now seeing it on Bitcoin for essentially the first time ever, okay, is not good. It's not good for bulls. It looks like a trend reversal. It looks like it's trying to form a double top. Now I say trying to because the neckline is way down here at 3,400 bucks or so. But if Bitcoin does go down and break that neckline, that will be a double top, okay, which is a bearish symbol. So what happens next? Well, if it does break that neckline, I think the first level I'd watch is down here around 22 or 2,300 bucks. But I think the level that's more interesting to me personally when I look at a monthly chart is this level, this 2013 high. And then again, it was tested right here in 2017. I think that is the level that may end up being the bottom. This may be something like this. Comes down here, moves sideways and consolidates, and then finally moves back up. Okay? And if you look at this and you start putting a volume profile on there, let's just go ahead and put it there. You can see that that is actually down there. That's basically support, right? There's almost no volume up here compared to the volume down there at that level. Okay. So, if we zoom forward a little bit, you can see, even when we cut out everything prior to 2016, if we cut out prior to 2017, right, there's still a gap down around that level. And when I say around that level, I'm talking to $1,000 to $2,000 level, right? It's not exact, but the monthly chart, it actually looks worse than anything else. It looks terrible, right? Could it change course? Yeah, absolutely. It can change course anytime, right? Trend reversals tend to happen on the smaller time frames before they happen on the bigger time frames. So you're going to see a trend reversal on a weekly before you're going to monthly. You're going to see it on a daily before the weekly, so on and so forth. So yeah, it could absolutely change. Me personally, what I'd like to see happen is I'd like to see it come down to this level, right? Or more accurately, this level, right? Just under 4,100 bucks. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see it come up, come down here, right? And then move up and punch in new highs. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I have no idea, right? All I know is that when you look at the chart, this is not bullish, it's bearish, okay? Somebody once told me, they said, well, you got to look at a yearly chart to get the true idea. Okay, well, here's a yearly chart. That doesn't look bullish, right? That does not look bullish at all. I mean, look at that. That's not bullish, okay? That looks like shit. So if I saw an altcoin chart that looked like this on a daily or a weekly, I wouldn't be shorting it way down here. But up here, I would have been shorting it, right? So that's the yearly chart for Bitcoin right there. Of course, if we go to the weekly chart and we put it on a line chart, right now we're just moving in a downtrend. We had the double top, we had the lower high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low. This looks like a lower high. Whether it is or not, tough to say. I don't think it's going to be the high. I think it's more likely that even if this does move down, maybe down to like 6,400, I think this will end up being the lower low, and I do think this is going to pop back up, maybe up to like here, right? And then do something like this. I don't know. That's a pretty big drop. Maybe it doesn't get that high. Maybe that would be too easy, right, to short. So maybe it does just move down from here. Hard to say. But, that's kind of what I'm looking at on the really big picture. On the 3-day stuff, which is my handy dandy 3-day charts, I need to open it up. I guess I closed it yesterday. Yesterday being the day that closed, a little over 2 hours ago. We did close the 3-day candle. We opened a new 3-day candle. This chart doesn't really tell me anything right now. It's between the bottom of the box, which is support, and it's between the blue line, which is actually resistance. So right now, the 3-day chart, I'm just waiting until it gets to one of these two areas. And then if it goes up, I'll look at the chart and the structure and the smaller time frames to see what I want to do. And if it goes down, same thing, I'll be looking to see what I want to do on a zoomed in time frame. On the daily chart, what we have was that we have this potential double top. It's not yet confirmed. Yesterday, with about 5 minutes left in the day, it actually bumped up and closed like, I don't know, like $3 above it or something. And as soon as it did, it caused this pump. And this pump was a 5-minute pump. On Coinbase, it went up just shy of $7,300. On Bitmex, it actually got up to around $7,400. So that looks like it was kind of like the dying breath of the bulls. And it looks like it's probably going to move down from here, but we'll have to wait and see. This candle's got 22 hours left in it roughly. If it closes underneath that yellow line, that will be a confirmed double top, and that'll be more reason to believe that we're going to move to the bottom of this channel at least, which right now is around, depends on how you draw it, obviously, 70, I keep saying 70, 6,000 to 6,400, somewhere in that ballpark down here, okay? If you look at the smaller time frame on the 4-hour time frame, we're getting down here. We're very low on RSI, but we're not yet oversold. So I'm not in any hurry to take a long position on this, right? But I'm also not in a hurry to jump back into my short. Would I like to be in a short? Yeah, if I hadn't closed the whole thing, I'd like to be in one. But I did close it by mistake, and at least half of it was by mistake. So now I'll just wait, right? It's down about 1% from where I closed it at, so that kind of sucks. I was hoping to get a bounce back up to this yellow line, which that yellow line is the 6-month downtrend starting from back in June. So I thought, I'll close half of it, and then when it bounces that line, I'll reopen that half. On Coinbase, it bounced to 7,300, but over here on Bitmex, it actually bounced all the way up to almost 7,450. So I may not get that bounce that I was hoping for. We'll just have to see, right? Speaking of Bitmex, if we take a look at the hourly chart on Bitmex, you can see we have this really nice downward sloping line. Just kept getting bearish retests. Right there would have been a great place to short. Right here would have been a great place to short. And right here, not so much, right? Didn't come up and quite get to it, and then the next one popped up. So if you had shorted right here, you'd probably have stopped out. What I should have done, and this is something that you can learn from, and I've talked about this in all kinds of videos, but then I forget to do it half the time. I should have just had an order sitting up here at 74.30. This right here was 74.06, but 74.30 was actually, let me show you. It was this line up here that I was wanting to get retested. Should have had an order sitting there, and then I would have got a fill, and I would have made like 3 or 4% in literally just like 5 minutes. But I thought, it'll probably start climbing up there, and then I can put it in manually. And of course, it happened a lot faster than I expected. You can see on Coinbase, it was very cliche. It came up and tested this lower support, turned resistance right here, and then just collapsed. This purple line, though, this is that neckline of that daily W, and this was the daily close right there. So the line was at 71.98, and it closed at 72.01, $3 above it. Okay. So that's kind of what Bitcoin looks like. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse and talk about the same stuff I talk about every day. As far as altcoins goes, we'll take a look at those. Link, man, I should have shorted Link yesterday. I did that video last night, and I said that the 4-hour looked bearish. I think at the time we were in this candle right here. And then I didn't short it. I just didn't feel like messing with it, to be honest. I had to transfer Bitcoin to ByBit. I didn't want to mess with it, so I should have, right? It was an obvious trade, I guess. It's down about 5.44%. If you look at the daily, it was a false break above the 200 daily. It came right back underneath it. So, somebody could have shorted this on the daily close, which was about, 2 hours ago, and they would currently be up about 2.86%. So again, just a very textbook example of how those 200-day moving averages can be really easy places to take a position. If we look at Bitcoin dominance, it's still sitting on top of the 200 daily. It has not broken underneath it. So I don't know that we're going to get an alt season like we did 2 years ago. One interesting thing is we are finding resistance on the 200 weekly, right? So maybe, and I don't know, but maybe we find out that we can't move above it and this thing finally starts to move down and alts start to gain some ground on Bitcoin. Please remember that alts can gain on Bitcoin without gaining US dollar value. If Bitcoin is falling in price and alts are staying flat, they will gain Satoshi value and Bitcoin's dominance will drop. Okay. But that being said, I did take a look at a few alts earlier, and some of them were looking like they were trying to put in some decent divergences. This is Ethereum, and if you look at this, here's what I would be watching for on Ethereum. Right here is your low. Okay, it's sitting right around 140 bucks. If this daily candle can close below 140 bucks, if it can close below there, you're going to have a really nice chance at getting a bullish divergence. And if I really wanted to get conservative here, here's what I would watch for. I would watch for this to come down closer to this level down here, close right closer to this level, maybe RSI come down right around 30, so you got this divergence looking something like this. And then I would be hunting for a long setup right around that area, right around 130 bucks or so, because there's a good chance that it could then bounce back up to, let's take a look here. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked to see it bounce all the way back up to 160, right, before further downside. And if it does, that could be a 20% gain, right? And you might say, nah, that probably won't happen. I just did a video a week ago on Zcash because it was putting in the same type of setup. And look, here you go, right? Here was your trend line. It punched in that lower low. It punched in that nice, beautiful divergence. And December 4th is when I did the video. And what happened next? From that daily close to the top, 21.3%. So, Ethereum, shit. I want the Coinbase chart. So yeah, that's what I would watch for. You might try to front run it. Some people are probably going to try to front run it. I'm not interested in it. I'd rather miss a trade than chase a trade. Okay. So me personally, I want to see it punch in a lower low on price, and I want to see this RSI get down at least to around 30, and preferably down close to this Fibonacci extension target. Let me look at some levels of support real quick on this thing. Oh shit, yeah. Let's see here. Look at that. Look. Right there. 143. It just fell below that. It filled in that gap. So it's below it now. And the next level. Yeah. Hello. 131.68. Look at this. See that? All through there. That was support. So yeah, if it can get down around 131, 132, put in that nice divergence, I'd say there's a good shot that there's going to be a 15 to 20% trade opportunity sitting on Ethereum, right? Now, I don't mean I don't say, hey, I'm going to get long and just hold it. I'm talking about a swing trade, a trade that I take, and with the intention of selling it within a few days or, maybe a week or so. I got to make sure to make a note of that to keep an eye out for that. If we take a look at Litecoin, what are you doing? Litecoin's the same thing, okay? Let me draw some. Oh, look, you can see my alert for 35 bucks. You've got a gap sitting down here around 34.66. I have bids down around that level. I don't want to say the exact number because I don't want people to overbid me by a penny or something. But down near that level, I have some bids. And if I take a look at this trend, There we go. Okay. 37.67 is the trend target for Litecoin. So I'll watch that closely because I might want to go long. And the one difference on Litecoin versus Ethereum, it's already got a daily divergence. It already has it, right? Here's your low in price. Here's your new low. It closed lower. This close was 43.95. This close was 43.63. And you have RSI making a higher low. So that is a bullish divergence. I am not interested in chasing that. If Bitcoin goes down more this week, I think it'll pull Litecoin down with it. If Litecoin can get down closer to 37 bucks and still have a nice bullish divergence, one that looks something like this, maybe it comes down around 28 to 30, and then price does something like this. It'd have to be quite this drastic, but somewhere down around this area, I'd like to see. I don't know if it'll get there. What kind of drop is that? Come on, TradingView. 10% drop. You know, if Bitcoin falls down around 6,200 bucks, that'd be about what, 15%? I'm just ballparking, right around 15%, I guess. Yeah, I could see that. Okay. So if Litecoin can fall down to that, you know, general area around $35 to $38, somewhere in there, and RSI can put in bullish divergence, I will look for a pump on Litecoin. And I think Litecoin, I would be looking to take profits. Let's see. Probably up around this $52 area is what I'd be looking for, right? And when I say that, you have to watch it, right? I mean, that can change on a dime. It can change in a 5-minute period. But yeah, up around that area, and no surprise, it's right around 21%. Okay, so that's Litecoin. What do we got? What else we got? Let's do Ripple. I don't ever do Ripple. Is Ripple looking good? Oh shit, Ripple's looking pretty good. Let's see. Bear with me here. I don't really see a good line. Wow, what's that target? Oh, 4 cents? Man, that'd be insane to see 4-cent Ripple, wouldn't it? I bought my first Ripple at 12 cents in 2017. Let's see. So if I'm looking at XRP here, you actually have this upward sloping line. This one's going to be a little different. I think this one, there's bullish divergence right there, boom, boom, right? And then it bounced roughly, I don't know, about 8 or 9%. I would be looking for triple divergence on this one if I was going to go long. It doesn't actually look that bad, but I still don't want to go long on an alt when Bitcoin looks bad because Bitcoin often pulls them down. But if you can get this thing to come down and look something like this, right, where it comes down and retests this low around 20 cents, while at the same time testing this trend line, there might be a long setup there, right? Could absolutely be a long setup, and then you could look for a pump back up to maybe this level here, right? That'd be about 28%. That's a pretty big pump. Maybe more like this level. Definitely a double-digit gain is what I'd be looking for, though, if that setup comes in. What else we got? Should I do one more? Let's do one more. How about Bitcoin Cash? I don't trade this one a whole lot, but some people like it. It's been good to me. I have no problem with Bitcoin Cash. It was actually the first trade that I ever did that, well, let's just put it this way. It was the biggest trade I did up to that point in my career. It was a really big trade I did. Bought it around 300 bucks and sold it around 700 bucks in 2017. And I put in a lot more money than what I should have. Wasn't proper risk management. I was still learning. So this thing, It's got a nice upward sloping line going back to September. It has actually, damn, that was a big ass divergence right there. That was before that big pump. Here's another divergence right here. Look at that. That's a tiny divergence. Works so well. Boom, boom, like a 2-bar divergence. And then it popped like 12%. I think the same thing on this one, right? I'd be looking for it to come down to this green line on RSI. That 168 is a gap fill, but that's a really long drop. I don't think it's going to get there. Well, actually, you know what? How far is that? That is about 18%. Let's see something. That's a big drop. I don't know that it was going to get that low. I would watch this green line on RSI and let's see if we can find a target for price. Fib extensions don't really help. There's just no real support. I don't know. Maybe it does get there. You know, I'm looking for some area that would stop it from falling that far, and there's just really nothing there. It's just open air, right? It's just open air. Maybe something like that, around 175. That was a tricky one. You know, but if it does drop again, I just watch and see what it's looking like if it gets to this line, see if it's putting any kind of, you know, bullish divergence on like a 4-hour chart or a 1-hour chart, and then kind of go with that. But this looks terrible. I don't know that I would even trade that, honestly, anything more than a day trade. So that's kind of Bitcoin Cash. Videos get long, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up there. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Please remember, I am literally some guy sitting in a spare bedroom. Nothing in the video is financial advice. Nothing in the video is trade advice. You should always do your own due diligence before making any type of investment. Also, please remember you can check the description for links where you can follow me on Twitter, TradingView, where you can join my free Facebook group, and where you can join my trading course if you'd like to learn how to trade. By the way, some people have asked me about my Discord. I've mentioned it in a few videos. The Discord is actually a paid Discord, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to join it unless you first buy the trading course, because you're going to be in there and I'm going to be talking about stuff that it doesn't really make sense. So if you want to join the Discord, you can hit me up if you want to on Facebook, and I can get you a link to it. But like I said, I really wouldn't recommend joining it unless you also first go through the trading course, so that you get the most value out of it. With all that being said, this is James with Crypto Common Sense, reminding you to trade safe.